Last time on The 7 Deadly Sins, after the soul-crushing defeat and death of the beloved Meliodas,
I can't feel you.
the commandments enacted their revenge to destroy all of mankind until Meliodas' sudden revival changes the tide of battle, but something seems off. Is that truly the same Meliodas from before?
I'm glad that you're alive and well, buddy.
Or is this version of him more demonic and ruthless, a resemblance of his past self? Find out next time on The 7 Deadly Sins.
I'm scared of turning back into who I once was.
Y'all been asking for it, and I finally made it. 7 Deadly Sins, Wrath of the Gods is finally here. So we already know how it goes. Meliodas runs a gauntlet against the pussy-ass, bitch-ass, hoe-ass, lame-ass 10 Commandments who didn't even give him the courtesy of the ones, unfortunately came out losing his life. So they then split up and bring ruin to all of the lands as the sins then do damage control and pack some of them up. And with Meliodas' revival, things have changed. He has changed, and with the gathering of all of the sins coming together, their new mission is to save the kingdoms from the 10 Commandments' grasp. But there's just one problem. Meliodas and Elizabeth are currently facing the wrath of the gods. And so the anime kicks us off with a bunch of demons escorting a group of people as one dude starts to chat with another dude asking if he knows what's going to happen to them, as he then tells them that they are going to be fed to the demon race. And already, son, I would have clocked that nigga right in his throat for saying that bullshit. Cause why are you finding this shit funny, knowing we just got captured by some fodder ass demons, and now you trying to tell me they gonna feed us to their race? Maybe you deserve to die, not me. Bro then begins to freak out, not wanting to die, as a demon then sinks his claws into dude's head and gives him the nastiest stare down of all time. Hell, this stare down might just rival the 2 black dudes in McDonald's stare down. Suddenly, Meliodas shows up saying 1,000 divine cuts and proceeds to do a single slash on a nigga. Now look at me when I say this. Where was the 1,000 divine cuts at? Am I missing something? Cause bro only did a fucking slash. He proceeds to pack some more demons up as Bond then hops in helping him out as the villagers are suddenly freed and begin to save each other as they then just sit back and watch these niggas handle business. And as they finish up, I had noticed something. I can't be the only one who noticed this as well. But why does Meliodas look like that?
This nigga is trash.
Genuinely, who the fuck is this? I know he changed after he came back from home, but real shit though, who the fuck is that nigga? Son, that ain't Meliodas. Nigga, is that what we call a skinwalker? The nigga looks uncanny, unnatural, like his authors downgraded him in quality. How the fuck does he go from this in season 3 to this in Wrath of the Gods? Something ain't right, bruh, and I just don't know. So then it cuts us to the kingdom of Leonus as they are celebrating the fact that they didn't get their asses wiped off the map from the 10 Commandments. So the king gathers everyone up to celebrate the moment and to choose a new Grand Master, which we all know is one hell of an honor, which were ranks previously held by Dreyfus and the dude right here. And so as the king announces who is going to be, guess who gets chosen?
The new Grand Master is Hauser.
Bruh, I don't even know my nigga's name. I've just been calling him Home Dude since season 3, and now he's a Grand Master? Shit, beats me. Everyone begins to cheer for bro and give him praises, and not gonna lie, bruh, this nigga caught a random stray, and that shit was funny as hell.
Fix that haircut first. Hold on, what's wrong with my hair?
Yo, bro, who said that shit? As everyone begins to leave the celebration, the king calls Meliodas and tells him that he had a vision of the sins finally coming together under the moon, but currently is missing Diane and King as it cuts to them and... Oh shit, I see y'all. I see y'all. I see y'all. I see y'all. Hey, what y'all two got going on, man? The group is over at Leonus and y'all niggas over here on a honeymoon? Type shit. So as the two embarrassedly begin to explain to each other how this misconception shouldn't be overthought about, they begin to get vulnerable with one another as King mentions the fact that his wings hasn't shown any signs of growing yet, as Diane, trying to cheer him up, tells him that it's okay if they don't because that's what makes him him. And this nigga King proceeds to take that the wrong way, checking her to see if she's correctly picking up what he is putting down. Nigga, what else could she be thinking about? Nigga, you got numbnuts or something? And as soon as he does that, he accidentally reveals his junk right in front of her face. Classic. As they return back from the baths, Shawty tells King that she feels like that she is being watched, but he just dismisses it as suddenly fairies begin to pour in around them as Diane invites King to join them as everyone begins to have themselves a good time. Now, I'm not trying to be a hater or anything, but this gotta be the most random shit I've ever seen in all of anime. Niggas came out of nowhere on some jolly shit, but did y'all forget that y'all ain't safe? Y'all are not safe. As everyone continues to dance and have themselves some fun, it homes in on Shawty as she is imagining herself dancing with this nigga Gloxy, as suddenly shit is no longer sweet no more. Cause King and Diane are now missing, and Lord have mercy, the music suddenly changed, cause not only were these two teleported to this big ass rock, but were teleported by two members of the 10 Commandments, the Giant King Drool of Patience and the first Fairy King Gloxinia of Repose. Oh my god, son, how is this possible? I told y'all niggas that y'all weren't safe, but no, y'all motherfuckers wanted to kumbaya and hold each other hands. Lock the fuck in, cause how is this shit even possible? Y'all just lost your only Fairy King as of right now and the second biggest person in the damn forest, and they were right in front of your faces. Diane and King get themselves ready to fight with their lives on the lines, and not gonna lie, they got their asses handed too bad. It was to be expected, come on now. King is too inexperienced and doesn't even show signs of his wings growing, and Diane is quite literally up against a hydrogen bomb. As they are defeated and lay there hopelessly, King tells them to get it over with, but suddenly Gloxinia heals to both of them. Turns out, they want to subject King and Diane to a test so that the both of them can surpass them. Niggas could've just came out and said that right away, not beat them to borderline death. After healing them, Drool tells them some lore about the both of them and that they have came to a different conclusion in life. And so now they are here for the development of them, but it might cost them their lives, as Diane and King immediately agrees to it, making Gloxinia go along and casts a spell that engulfs the both of them as they are both suddenly taken into a different world. And even though they are here in this beautiful ass world, there is a problem. As King begins to speak, he examines his body and realizes that he is not in his own body, but realizes that he is in Gloxinia's, and just to double check, he goes to go look at his reflection and his suspicions was right. Suddenly, Diane screams as King makes his way over to her, and she is currently inside of Drool's body. And as they discuss what in the utter hell is going on, they suddenly feel a presence heading their way. With such demonic energy, it had to be someone of the 10 Commandments. It crashes down, and as the smoke clears out, it reveals to be the one and only
Meliodas? Yo, you got here quick.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. I knew the authors wouldn't hold this dude Meliodas like that. What we seen earlier, that ain't that nigga Meliodas. Niggas did that just to give us a little scare, cause this right here is that boy Meliodas. As they continue to chop it up with that boy Meliodas, Elizabeth suddenly arrives as it shocks both King and Diane as it reveals that she is a member of the goddess race. And now that everyone has arrived, they then begin to make their way to someplace as Meliodas checks up on them to see if they are ready for what's to come. And as soon as they arrive, man, it is pure and utter chaos. Demons left and right just having themselves a field day, and you already know Meliodas doing his thing as suddenly Diane and King are challenged by another giant who looks just like Drool, and his name is Meliodas, who is a member of the 10 Commandments. Diane suggests that they run until Meliodas tells them that if they do, they will fall to his commandment, as he suddenly attacks Diane, sending her into the ground. King responds with his own attack and sends it at him, causing hella damage. King and Diane then realize that they can fight back since they aren't weaklings anymore. They continue to pack bro up, causing immense damage until he uses an attack that Meliodas steps in and deflects right back at him, finishing the battle. After finishing him, they get ready to fight the other demons, but they aren't there anymore. We find out that this is due to Elizabeth because all she did was tell them to go home, and they did just that. Nigga, huh? She can just do that?
Get the fuck out!
Some humans then come up from under some rocks and grease themselves to them. They ask if they can tag along their resistance against the Demon King, as Meliodas agrees, allowing them to join them. Now look, I want y'all to remember this moment. Remember this moment. They go back to their headquarters and some small minor shit happens, like the revealing of one archangel, Meliodas talking to the human who looks just like Bond, and Elizabeth confronting the archangel about his actions. We then later get to see Diane training with some of her giant subordinates as it cuts the king as he senses a presence deep in the forest. A fairy then pulls up on King that he knows, but he doesn't know that this fairy girl is related to Gloxinia, that being his younger sister, but she is completely different from the one from the future. They chalk it up as King mentions the presence that is in the forest, as she tells him that it's a huge amount of live bait to draw out the demon race. This revelation shocks King as suddenly the sky begins to change as the demon race is led by the 10 Commandments to save their captive comrades. And as the demons come closer and closer to the forest, Diane, Meliodas, and King plans on intercepting them as the human who looks like Bond steps up to protect the forest and Gloxinia's sister in their absence. Diane points out that the demons have stopped advancing as it shows it's cause of Elizabeth. Ooh-wee, she's standing 10 toes down, nigga. She don't give a fuck who you is. As she confronts them, Mosby points out to her that their comrades have been missing and led them to this place, but Elizabeth has no knowledge of this. Elizabeth then kicks in that talk no jutsu, telling them that the archangel has something planned and it isn't good, as Diane doesn't believe her. They then go back and forth as Elizabeth is finally able to convince them to let her handle the situation until the archangel proceeds to lift up the captured demons, who has Diane's sister in it, up in their faces and erase all of them in front of the commandments. Oh, there's always that one nigga who gotta fuck shit up. And if I was Elizabeth, I'd be mad as hell right now. As everyone is in shock, Diane in a fit of rage punches Elizabeth as suddenly 2 lights appear in the sky, revealing it to be 2 more archangels as it's finally time for these niggas to throw down. After striking down Elizabeth, the 2 archangels make their presence known to the commandments as they waste no more time and both use their Omega arcs. Nigga, this is the equivalent of having a Portal Fortress thrown on you in Fortnite, cause these motherfuckers spawned in 7 different Omega arcs and had these niggas full boxed. As they are captured, Mosby puts it on his life that he will get revenge for them as the arcs proceed to erase all of the demons who were caught up in them, leaving only Melascula and Galad left on the demon side. And as the 2 archangels begin to talk their shit to them, the rest of the commandments survived and they hit their ass with a sneak attack, sending one of them into the ground as Diane pulls up and begins to activate her combo star on the other one. The rest of the commandments gather around as they stare at the archangel who survived the attack. It cuts back to Diane and she is not letting up, landing all 55 of her punches on bro as he just eats them and regenerates himself. Galad steps in and finishes him off with a slash as he tells Diane that he is sorry for stepping in like this, but these archangels are built different cause bro literally regenerated himself from being split in half. Mosby runs the ISO with 1 archangel and as he dodges his attack, he is still getting damage even after he is evading. The angel tries to close in on him as Frauja steps up, slamming him into the ground as the attack only leaves his hand in utter ruin as the angel and Mosby make a bet on defeating each other within 5 minutes. It cuts back to the pink hair angel and Leonus as they discuss how sad their plan was to kill the commandments as he tells her to guard the celestial gate with her life as he departs for the battlefield. And as he begins to walk off, she wishes him well as he suddenly returns back, which startles her. He tells her that while she is at it, she needs to call in reinforcement just in case, as it reveals that the pink hair angel is under a spell. Gother's spell. Man, nigga, these motherfuckers are moving different, cause how did he even get in there? As Leonus heads to the battlefield, Gother has captured their headquarters as the angel begins to tell him about Leonus' sacrifices for winning this war. They make it to the gate as Melascula pulls up, rendezvousing with Gother. It goes back to the battlefield and this nigga Fraudrin is starting to look like Fraudrin, cause his ass proceeds to get packed up after throwing that sorry ass attack. One archangel begins to charge up a powerful attack as Galad tries to stop it, but is stopped by the head of the angel as Diane tries to do the same but is stopped by the other head. The angel finishes and throws the attack at Galad as he just eats that motherfucker until Mosby throws an attack, hitting himself a goddamn triple collateral as suddenly he is cut down in half by the kid angel. Diane pulls up on him as he activates his vortex, shredding her arm, but she continues to push on and lands an attack on his eye. And as he tries to recover, Galad big body ass is carrying the angel's attack and slams it straight onto bro as he is suddenly snuck from behind. Leonus appears as he stares down Mosby, telling them GG's. Mosby attacks but it does nothing as Diane tries, but bro was already 1 step ahead. Oh my goodness, this nigga might be coke butter cheese. As Mosby and Diane gets up and realizes that they are outmatched, they are left with no other choice. They begin to shove their hands deep into their chest and this shit looks like it hurts like a motherfucker. Galad, sensing what's about to happen, tells Fraudrin to get up and retreat as Diane and Mosby pulls out their hearts and begins to offer their 6 hearts as sacrifices to reveal their true nature, crushing their hearts as the 2 of them begin to undergo a transformation like no other has seen before, turning them into something worse than demons. Melascula then tells us that this spell is highly secretive as only a few people know about it and it is considered taboo. This form that Diane and Mosby have taken on after sacrificing their 6 hearts is called Indura, the most diabolical being of them all. Ooh-wee! This shit getting good. As Leonus stares down these Avengers levels threat, this nigga is still over here talking that shit and pays for it by getting his shit crammed. Got this nigga flying like Kal-El when he fought Zod. It cuts to Galad and Fraudrin and them niggas don't want no smoke regarding these 2, as Fraudrin says that these 2 are no longer human but are beasts that are despised by all, even amongst their own race. Leonus comes back up and responds back with his own attack, sending it at them, creating a nuclear-sized explosion, but these 2 just sat there and ate that shit like it was nothing. Bro, knowing he is cooked, tries to call upon the other 2 archangels, but instead they asses get snatched up by Mosby as he proceeds to fry the both of them in aura form while he does. Diane comes up and proceeds to put belted ass on him. Got this nigga vomiting after the attack she landed. Leonus can't believe that them, the archangels are going to lose against the commandments, as it shows that the other two are out of the mix because of mod speed, as it shows us this cut of the two of them just horror farm. Meliodas and the others then arrives where Elizabeth is, and as they try to get her, the barrier protecting her prevents them from helping her. Meliodas then steps up knowing what he has to do as he proceeds to force himself inside the barrier, even if he is a demon, and will cause him severe pain. He continues to push on until he saves himself his precious Elizabeth. Elizabeth wakes up and begins to cry as she blames herself for not stopping what has happened, as it then shows us the aftermath of everything that's been going on, and man, this holy war shit ain't no joke, son. It cuts back to the demons and Leonus as they get ready to re-engage with each other, as Elizabeth pulls up staring down Diane once more. Leonus thinking she came to help him get shut down by her as she claims that she will save them. Elizabeth begins to show her true powers in front of everyone as she begins to try to dispel the darkness that is within inside of Diane and Mosby's body. The darkness inside of them tries to fight back as Elizabeth continues to press on. Leonus tries to persuade Elizabeth to stop trying to save them, but she doesn't give a damn. Leonus then tries to take matters into his own hands as Meliodas then pulls up, putting a stop to him. He calls on to the other two archangels to help him defeat Meliodas, which we know ain't gonna happen, which they then come up and proceed to help Elizabeth instead to save the other two commandments. And with their efforts, they are finally able to dispel the darkness that was inside the two of them as they resort back to their original forms as they begin to fall back to the earth. You know, man, I haven't said this enough, but Elizabeth, you the GOAT, man. I ain't gonna hold. After saving the both of them, she then goes unconscious as this pussy nigga Leonus tries to sneak the two of them as Diane proceeds to protect them both. A small back and forth happens between sparing or killing them as everyone decides to spare the commandments, but Leonus wasn't going for it. He calls the pink hair girl and tells her to send reinforcements and to call on that nigga Mael, and as soon as she turns around to do so, she sees Melascula already turning their divine gate into a demonic portal to hell itself. As she watches in horror, she calls upon the people outside to come defeat the two commandments, but something then happens that no one could have ever expected.
Plan on taking down one of the 10 commandments on your own?
That's not what I had in mind.
The humans were traitors all along. Damn it, Meliodas, your friendly ass attitude led to this. The humans began to pretty much solo everyone who was there alike. Giants, fairies, angels, humans, all were not spared, and unfortunately, Gloxinia's sister was dragged into it and got the worst of it all. And while King and Diane are on their way to the headquarters, they are suddenly stopped by Gother. Gother proceeds to stall the two of them as they then have a small conversation that results in Gother finding out that these two aren't Gloxinia nor Drool. Melascula finds out that the portal she has made isn't the portal to hell, but the portal to the prison that is inside of hell, as she gets mad at Gother for tricking her and that the person who comes out of this portal is the one and only Gother? Yo, who is this nigga? Okay, let me lock in real quick. The real reason the real Gother is here so that he could put an end to the holy war. He meets up with Diane and King to tell them this and to tell them to look after the dog Gother and to take care of him in his absence. King, sensing something has badly happened, makes his way to the forest as he lays his eye on the human who was holding his dead sister body, even though she isn't dead. And in a fit of rage, King without hesitation lunges to kill him but stops inches away. He suddenly realizes that this person reminds him of Bond and that history is repeating itself as he spares the human, but the camera then shows us him missing his entire upper body. The camera then turns around showing us this nigga Gloxinia. Holy shit, nigga, what? Bro, I thought, but this... Dude, what? King comes back to reality as Gloxinia tells him that he has passed his test and that he killed the human who killed his sister, which he now regrets. King now sits and waits for Diane as she is still inside talking to the real Gother, but unfortunately their time is cut short since the executioner is here. And even though this nigga looks like Sonic the Hedgehog with that yee ass haircut, he is still that nigga. He pulls up to their location demanding Gother to return back to prison, but Diane protests and begins to fight Zeldris, and unfortunately she gets her ass defeated in the process. It goes back to reality and we find out that there is no possible way for Diane to ever return. Either she joins the commandments or dies with her pride intact, as suddenly she returns back? Drool in shock demands how did she make it back, as she then tells us that she pulled a strategic retreat. Classic. Now that the both of them have passed their trials given by the two of them, they are now stronger than before as it cuts us back to the sins as the king's prophecy is coming true right before their eyes. Yeah, that black moon that nigga was talking about earlier, he was referring to Diane's ass. Reaction time of a fucking newborn. King and Diane have touched down in front of the other sins and some other minor shit happens, like Diane revealing the fact that she has gotten her memories back and that they are going to help Gother no matter what. The king comes out and reveals the fact that he has Gother's heart, as a memory then triggers his PTSD as he then runs away and they chase after him, getting his heart back to him. And now that all the sins have finally assembled together, they are off to go free the kingdom of Camelot from Zeldris. And before they even make their way to Camelot, two important things happen. First, this motherfucker Merlin has herself an encounter with Zeldris as he then injures her, and since their only healer is Elizabeth, she comes in to help only to get sucked into the exact same thing. Zeldris then begins to tell Elizabeth about herself and Meliodas was afraid of telling her about their past and how they know each other and about her and Meliodas' curse, but she doesn't care and still wants to stick beside him. Secondly, soon after all of that transpires, Elizabeth begins to tweak the hell out as the others have to restrain her, revealing to us that Elizabeth has tragically regained her memories, causing her to pass out. They then put her to bed as we then get the scoop between the two of them. Meliodas tells us that her curse makes it to where whenever she finds out about their past and regains her memory, she will have 3 days left and die afterwards. Damn. That shit's just tragic, my nigga. We also learned that Meliodas and Elizabeth tried to go head and head with their parents, the Demon King and the Supreme Deity, and unfortunately, they ended up losing that shit and getting their curses at the same time. We then see this curse in action as every time Elizabeth dies, Meliodas will eventually end up finding her and the process will happen all over and over and over and over and over again. After finding out this information, everyone was put into a sad mood until they finally reached the city of Kalan. And once they reach the city, they are greeted by Zeldris as he begins to shit talk about Elizabeth, which triggers Meliodas to act, falling into Melascula's trap. I mean, valid crash shot, I guess, but nigga, you got caught with your pants down, buddy. You fell for a trap. As Meliodas is taken away someplace else by Melascula, the others are roaming the city and are fighting undead soldiers that are created by her powers. Slowly but surely, they defeat all of the soldiers while she continues to toy with this nigga Meliodas, rage baiting him even more. Soon, Melascula comes out to the sins to fight them herself, and while she's fighting them, this nigga Meliodas has had himself enough and breaks out of the cocoon of darkness that not even Zeldris can break out of. Escanor, sensing that Destroy All Ops pack in the air, calls upon his divine axe Rita and makes his way to where Meliodas is. Escanor stands there in just aura forms while he watches this nigga Meliodas slowly lose himself until he finally breaks and begins to transform into his previous self from 3,000 years ago, becoming Assault Mode Meliodas. The two of them begin to stare each other down as trash talk is thrown left and right. And enough of all that talk, nigga! I'm here for one reason, and one reason only, and that is to see Escanor test his mettle against Assault Mode Meliodas, the leader of the 10 Commandments. Escanor tells Sun that he wants to see him struggle, as he then brings that bitch down onto him, but Meliodas ain't no lightweight and blocks that shit with a menacing smile on his face, as Escanor continues to swing, going be offensive, until Meliodas then chin checks this nigga. Escanor misses his counterattack as they then ready themselves again. Meliodas moves in and turns into a fucking blade and then kicks this nigga, man. Oh hell nah. Run that shit back. Am I watching two PNGs fight right now? Where is the impact frame, son? Man, this half-ass animated shit. Man, get the fuck out of here, nigga! Escanor then recovers himself, then re-engages with Meliodas once more, just swinging his damn sword, hoping for the best. Escanor, thinking he finally got the better of Meliodas, then goes into shock as it reveals that Meliodas has stabbed his ass in the stomach and ore farm while he does. Man, who are these niggas feeling like? Escanor tries to remove Meliodas until he cranks the heat up, sending Hellblades through him as he is finally defeated. Escanor gets his ass right back up and begins to power up in front of Meliodas, causing the ground below him to break and ooze lava as he walks towards him. He gets in front of Meliodas, giving him a taste of his aura as he then raises his axe up and yells super slash and brings that bitch down onto Meliodas again until Meliodas responds with an uppercut to his chest, bringing him to his knees. Meliodas begins to trash talk this nigga, telling him that weak ass power up was just for show. Escanor, irritated, responds back with a slash as they then continue to trade sword strikes until Meliodas catches Rita with his hands. As Escanor uses Cruel Sun on Meliodas, he responds back with full counters, sending it right back at him. Meliodas then throws his sword at him as he blocks it, as he is then disarmed and slashed at, but Escanor wide body Tonka ass stop Meliodas' sword. He cracks Meliodas with a nice right hook as Meliodas responds back with his own, and oh my god, he had this nigga bouncing up against the ground and wall like a damn ball. Son, this might be cookies. Meliodas then compliments Escanor for giving him a good fight as he lays there on the ground. As Meliodas gets ready to kill him, Merlin tells us that Escanor power increases while the day continues, peaking when it's exactly high noon, giving him the power that turns him invincible for a whole minute, as this mode is called the One. Meliodas then gets serious as he gathers his aura and speed blisses Escanor, using 1,000 divine cuts, and he actually used it correctly this time, bruh, not that weak ass single ass cut he used earlier. The smoke clears up, showing that Escanor took no damage from Meliodas. Meliodas then goes in for another attack as Escanor proceeds to cut space as he uses the move Holy Sword Escanor, that proceeds to not only turn off Meliodas' aura but one tap him as well. Nah, this nigga got it, son. Escanor then proceeds to aura farm over Meliodas' injured body, telling him how does it feel to be looked down upon. GG's, bud. The fight could have been a whole lot better, but I mean, shit, it was good eats at the end of the day. After their fight, the others then come down to the two of them as Merlin takes the injured Meliodas and Escanor back to their base where they are both heavily injured. It then cuts us to this nigga Zeldris as he is trying to pull out the holy sword Excalibur but realizes he can't until his father pops in telling him that he has great news to bring. He tells Zeldris that his older brother Meliodas is slowly returning back to his old self and will be crowned officially as the Demon King once fully back. He then gives him the task to retrieve Meliodas and bring him back. Shit, so much has happened, mud, and it's only been 13 episodes and we still got so much more to cover. So if y'all niggas enjoying this, get this video to 500 likes and I'll finish it off, but we gotta move on. And also, please check out the TikTok where the raw, unedited versions are uploaded first before they are posted onto YouTube. But until then, who the fuck is Maya?